Hello, my name is Jenan Kanono. I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited, where we get to serve you. So if you have a financial challenge, if you have a money problem, if you want to scale up your business, we have you sorted. And you can always check us out at www.thejonakiholdings.com for money solutions. We are located in Tinda as our headquarters and at Mulago Business Center as our branch. Enjoy this video. So today we're going to talk about friendly loan collection method rather than, forceful collection method. Why you need to embrace a friendly collection method rather than using that forceful method. Because you see, two irons cannot work together. Two hot things cannot work together. That's why poles of the same charge cannot attract one another, but opposite poles do. So it is important that you actually approach collection with the mindset of how do I maintain this relationship? How do I foster this relationship? Because you see, some of our businesses have been transformed by a few clients. This is what we call the Pareto principle. There are 20% of the clients that give you 80% of the revenue. As a matter of fact, I have an experience of a client whom we nearly collided, whom we nearly clashed. But somehow, after harmonizing our ends, he got to bring me several other clients. So as you're serving that client, as interacting with that client, there's something beyond that client, because he has a number of several other people that he knows about. He has a number of other clients, potential clients that he knows about that you may not be aware of. So you may think you're clashing with this. You may think you're clashing with this only one client, but yet you're clashing with a number of hundreds and hundreds of clients. The potential clients that this person can actually expose you to. So one client like this can be your game changer. He can make you cut a deal that can transform your life, that can transform the terrain of your business. So you ought to treat every client with carefulness and with a lot of dignity. Why it is important that you actually collect in a friendly manner. Now, granted, in this business, there are those guys who actually plan for you. There are those fraudsters who will sit down and know that, I'm getting this money from Jonaki Holdings Limited, and my intention is not to pay. They'll even give you a collateral, you'll value. If it is land, you'll put a mortgage, and you do everything. And everything is actually genuine. But at the back of their mind, they are aware that they're going to default. They're going to default. So what happens? They are prepared for you. They already know they're going to go to court. Now, I'm not talking about those ones, but also clients who actually come genuinely to get money from you, but after a while, they want to actually pay back. They're probably chasing a deal, that after the deal goes through, they'll come back and pay. Their intention is actually good, but somehow things get out of hand, but somehow things get hayway. Like, you may understand how business sometimes can turn out to be tricky. So I'm talking about those clients that have good intentions, that are genuine, but somehow things go south. So you ought to handle them well. Especially clients that you've served for a while. There are clients that you've serviced, that you've served for a while, they've been good clients, but somehow things changed. You ought to actually collect from them very well. And it is very pertinent that you actually embrace it. So there are three things that you need to look at or consider in doing friendly collections. The first one is to have open communication. Communicate. And this also speaks to the side of the client. The client, even if things get tough, even if things get hard, even if things go south, it is important that you openly communicate. Because Jonaki Holdings is not a spirit, it is not a ghost, it will not read your mind. It will not read what it is that you're going through. So you ought to have an open communication. Even you as a client, you ought to communicate. That, look, here and there, I expected this money in 1 month, but somehow my person who's meant to pay me, or the company that I gave service to, cannot ably pay. So actually, you have to hold up a bit. And we are not robots. We are people, we understand. We can always extend the time, but you have to communicate and communicate in time. Don't wait for the time when the loan is expiring today, or it has expired by 1 day, and it's when you're actually telling me that, because then you'll even have to incur some penalty that you wouldn't have incurred had you communicated in time. So it is important, both on the side of the lender, but also on the side of the client, to openly communicate. Now, to you, the lender, if you know the loan is expiring on 25th, Why do you communicate to this client on actually 25th? It might be that the client has actually forgotten. It might be probably that the client has traveled. There are lots of things that happen. And probably he forgot about the date, genuinely. So you ought to communicate a few days prior. It is even courteous that after dispersing the loan, because the person got this loan to actually go and step up his business, scale up his business, or do a particular deal, follow up. Did your deal go through? How did your deal thrive? How did it progress? That alone creates a friendliness that the client will even rethink, even if he thought about defrauding or refusing to pay. He may rethink his mind because you actually have picked interest in him. You have picked interest in him. So you as a lender, it is important that you reach out probably 5 days before the due date, update the client, embrace the system, embrace technology. These things can actually help you. If you're serving thousands of clients, it might be very hard to physically to notify them. That's why technology comes in handy. I've done a YouTube video on technology and how to embrace it and how to use it in your systems. You can use technology, update a person 5 days prior, 1 week prior, so that they can actually know that, this is where we're headed, the due date is this and this, and they'll have no excuse whatsoever to say I was not notified of when the loan would be due. So open communication is very, very, very key. Then also two, it is important that you actually, you as a person who has borrowed the money, that you reach out to the lender, and you as a lender to revise your payment options, because there are some hard situations that clients go through. You don't have to be rigid. It is important that you revise your payment modalities, the repayments by the client. If you're too hard in this business, you almost clash with every client. And the more clients you clash with, the more you're losing out. Why? Because this client has a contact of several other clients. You can get several deals from one client. So you ought to treat them very well. So you need to clash with as few clients as possible. So it is important that you actually get to clash with as few clients as possible, because they will lead you to several other clients. So it is important that if the client is going through a hard time, that you revise the payment modalities. That is a friendly approach to loan collection. That's a more friendly approach. It's a more genuine and good approach, because things can go south, things can get hard. So you need to actually revise the repayments. But also two, you as a person who has borrowed the money, if they revise the payments, commit on something that you can actually afford. There are people, because of the pressure, that can actually make promises that will not fulfill. If you're making a promise, if you're making a commitment, it is pertinent that you actually commit on something you're going to fulfill. Because if you promise me something 2-3 times and you don't fulfill, it becomes challenging. So you can waste a lot of time, both on the side of the client, because ultimately, if the paperwork is very good, ultimately you as a client, you'll eventually pay. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you'll actually pay, because paying you'll pay. So you as a client, you'll waste a lot of time. But also you as a lender, you also lose a lot of time and money. The worst thing you can do is to actually end your matter in court. This should be the list of the options. It should only apply to clients who have borrowed money with an intention to defraud, because those also are there. He'll know he's going to waste your time in court, but ultimately he's going to pay. So to save time on both ends, it is important that you employ a friendly approach to lending and collection and recovery, rather than using forceful methods, because litigation can take very many times, can take a long time, can take a long period of time, 2-3 years you're in court, your money is seated, you're stuck, you're all paying, but ultimately if you have good paperwork, the client pays. But you've clashed, you've lost a number of several other clients behind this client, and you've lost business, you've lost a friendship, because you don't know. Tomorrow it could be, edging it, but tomorrow someone else could be edging it. So all to support one another. And that speaks to the previous video that I showed about collaboration. So we need to clash with as few people as possible, because that's how business thrives. It thrives by working with several people, by working with several partners. We all to clash with as few clients as possible. Don't push for court, don't push for litigation, both on the side of the client and on the side of the lender, but rather look at a harmonious way of collecting the money. But in all those things, ensure there's an open communication, but also ensure that if things go hard, if things go south, you can actually sit on table and revise your repayment methods so that both of you can work out a good way. There is always a way. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can always check us out at www.jonakiholdings.com, and you can come and visit us, and we shall get to support you. But don't forget, learn these things and implement them. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching.